Hey.
Hey, Harlan family, Pastor Ethan here with another Walk the Path video from Sunday's message. This week we talked about just the last section of Acts chapter 15, where Paul and Barnabas have a sharp disagreement over John Mark, and they split, Paul going with Silas, Barnabas going with John Mark. And so I've got Luke here with me, one of our worship leaders, does a lot around here. We love him. Luke, what are some ways you think we as a church can walk out the text this week?
So we talked a lot about forgiveness and the importance of forgiveness, especially when there's division in families or in relationships in the church and outside of the church. And that's something I've thought about a lot in my life, because inherently with human beings you're going to have conflict and disagreements. And one word that kept coming to mind for me as we were discussing the scripture was humility. And the fact that I feel like forgiveness for me starts with humility, accepting the areas in my life where I've made mistakes, and the unearned grace that God has given us through Jesus Christ, and how when we recognize that, it empowers us to forgive other people in our lives that have done us wrong or had disagreements with.
Yeah, it's if you have convinced yourself that you've never done any wrong to anybody, well then it's easy to make a reason for why you should not forgive as well. But if you can recognize that before God, we're absolute disasters, right? We constantly screw other people over. We're constantly hurting those around us. And God has forgiven us so much, so how could we not also forgive? And I like that. And I think it's just, sometimes being in the church can be messy, right? But there's so much grace that is required, not only on God's part for us, but on our parts for each other. We bear with one another in love, for love covers a multitude of sins, right? And there's that, bearing is not always easy. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, you had an interesting point in the service about how even though there was division and it seemed like a negative thing, it actually just multiplied the number of people that God was able to reach and that were able to receive the gospel.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to remember that things in our lives that feel like disasters or shameful, or there's a lot of hurt in this life, God can turn those ashes into beauty. And I think oftentimes it's the things that we see as destruction and failure, God turns for good and makes beautiful.
That is so true. I love that. And I think we've all seen that in our lives, right? I've seen it many times in my life, the things that it's like, oh, that's like my worst quality, but God somehow He can use it, right? He can use it. Even like if you struggle with addiction in your past, He uses that. It's a part of the story. It's the story of redemption in your life, right? And so He uses all things, and even the sharp disagreement, which I think was wrong, God used it for His good. And He'll use those things in your life. It's not an excuse, right, to get into sharp disagreements with your fellow brothers and sisters. But there are times where we will disagree, and knowing that God can use us even in our failure is pretty comforting.
Yeah, again, it's just having that humility to say, okay, I know I'm falling short of the standard of God. How am I going to hold other people to a standard that I myself can't reach? And so it opens the door for us to forgive people, even if they don't acknowledge that they're wrong or don't initially understand that there was, hurt there. So
Oftentimes we treat forgiveness like, if you ever give somebody a gift, but in your heart you're expecting them to give something back to you, or in your heart you're hoping to get some sort of, even if you're hoping to get a compliment or something, some acknowledgement from it, well then you're not really giving freely, right? You're giving with an expectation. And I think it's the same thing with forgiveness. We give without expecting to get back. It's like, I'm giving, and it's not because I think this is gonna even fix everything. I just need to forgive you, right? And that can be a tremendously difficult thing.
Yeah, and it gives us freedom when we forgive other people. Like we said in the sermon, so much of it is for you. You're carrying this baggage that is weighing you down, and not the person you're choosing to not forgive. So.
Drinking poison, expecting someone else to die. That's good. Awesome. Thanks for being here with us, Luke, and encouraging the body to walk the path. Let's walk the path. I say it every video. Let's walk the path with all fervency, because what we do matters. The way we live our life matters. People see it, and we got to do this. We have to do it for real. We can't just be halfway in, halfway out. So let's walk it. Let's do it with our whole heart because He's worthy of it. See you next week as Lynn comes as our guest speaker and continues on in Acts chapter 16.